small brief about what I do on my practice also. So basically, I'm a practitioner, not just a speaker. Generally, you might have heard some financial wellness programs. There are a lot of people who come and then who of course give a lot of knowledge, but they're not everyday into advising clients or into the practice of helping clients or managing their wealth, right? So we are the other way around. We are hardcore doctors. We are wealth managers. Day in and day out, I meet clients and help them, give clarity on their financial well-being and help them take action and help them reach their goals, right? Just to give a background so that you kind of get a credibility, what credibility I'm coming with, and what is that we have achieved, so that you have a right background, right? So basically, we started this practice of helping clients, do their tax planning and financial planning about 10, 11 years back. As you see the timeline, from in the initial 2 years to managing 350 clients and 10 crores of assets. As we speak today, we are managing close to 3,000 investors and close to 600 crores of assets. So the whole program today, it's only an awareness program. Generally, ऐसा होता है, mix of Hindi and English is okay, right? If any of you have any language preference, or if it is to be only in English
Yes,
or
yes. Next one is good.
better,
Yeah.
okay, right? So generally क्या होता है, इनफैक्ट कल मैं एडलवाइस का एक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कंपनी में एक सेमिनार था मेरा. So generally, ऐसा होता है लोग को that if any financial topic is there, people think that this person will come and try to sell some product, right? No. So this program, trust me, it's a pure educational program. I'll try and share my some small knowledge with all of you, that how you probably how you can use this in terms of making your tax planning more efficient, right? So the whole idea is to spread financial awareness. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to cover today, very simple stuff and very simple things, but very practical and actionable steps. Okay. Now, generally, when it comes to tax planning, what I've seen is that all of us only talk about income tax, right? Naturally, what salary you are getting, on that, how can I save tax? But the biggest tax all of us are going to end up paying as we go forward in our lives is the tax on your investments, right? Yeah. Because what is wealth? Basically, as you start saving in different asset classes after 10 year, 15, 20, 25 year, because of power of compounding, hopefully all of you do the stuff properly. All of us will have decent amount of wealth, right? That too in a country like India, I feel it will be very difficult for someone not to create wealth, right? Because you are at that junction of the country where everyone can become rich if you just do some simple basic things, right? So कल अपना सबका 5 करोड़ 10 करोड़ 20 करोड़ का वेल्थ बनेंगे, लेकिन उसके ऊपर क्या टैक्स होगा? बराबर. सपोज जस्ट इमेजिन से कपिल भाई इज देयर एंड कपिल भाई का कल 20 करोड़ का वेल्थ बन गया, राइट? एंड उसको पता ही नहीं था वो टैक्सेशन क्या था वो प्रोडक्ट का, राइट? एंड सपोज द टैक्सेशन वाज 20%. Now, if he has to pay 4 crore, suppose he has to remove that money for some use, maybe he wants to buy a big bungalow or XYZ purpose. So he wants to redeem that, right? On 20 crore, he will end up paying 4 crore tax. आज तो मेरे को नहीं लगता इधर whatever number of people are there, how many people are there today? I think about 50, 60, 67 people now. So I don't think not many of you are paying 4 crore tax, right? ये investment के ऊपर ऐसा हो सकता है that many people don't even think, that kind of a scenario also can come, right? So, and then of course, this is everyone keeps asking and keeps want to get better clarity. Should I have to go for new regime or a old regime? And if at all if I'm in a old regime, how can I do my smart tax planning? And generally, when it comes to deductions, सबको मोटा मोटी 80C पता है, बट बियॉन्ड 80C थोड़ा क्लैरिटी कम है, बराबर. एंड 80C के अंदर भी प्रॉपर वे में टैक्स प्लानिंग नहीं हो रहा है. एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स कंक्लूजन. Okay. So let me ask you an interesting question as we speak. You can put in the chat. सर आज इंडिया में सबसे अमीर आदमी कौन है? Who is the richest person in the country? Please put in chat. Aditi, we have what? 45 minutes, 1 hour? How much time we have?
We have 1 hour, but you can extend also. Like if some questions are coming in the end, Q&A will happen.
Yeah.
So
Sure. 45 minutes to 1 hour is okay. Okay, great. Mukesh Ambani is the highest, richest person. Okay, guys, can you tell me who is the highest taxpayer in the country? Tej, Alok. Thank you for being interactive. Please, all of you, start putting in the chat. I know not many people want to unmute and talk. Let's use the chat. Please put in the chat who is the highest taxpayer in the country. Google मत करना. विराट कोहली, okay. I think couple of years we have heard, yes, Akshay Kumar नाम आए थे, एक दो साल आए थे. I think once Shahrukh Khan name had also come, but definitely not Mukesh Ambani. Correct? ऐसा क्यों है? Logically speaking, the richest person has to be the highest taxpayer. Correct? Why is not the highest taxpayer? Can any of you tell? Mr. Ambani क्यों highest taxpayer नहीं है? Huh.
But they are investing somewhere else. Or
Mr. Joshi, what I said, net worth contains only a little amount of liquid taxable assets. Sir, if you earn money, you have to pay tax, right? Effective tax planning. Sir, do you think, Tej, good answer. Do you think Mr. Amitabh Bachchan cannot afford a nice, proper, good CA, which Mr. Ambani has? ठीक है, चलो guys, let's see ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है. Before we understand what Mukesh Ambani is doing, let's understand हम क्या कर रहे हैं. Ultimately ये important है ना, बिकॉज ये सेशन तो आपके लिए है. मुकेश भाई क्या कर रहे हैं, मुकेश भाई कितना स्मार्ट है, वो अपने लिए ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. ये देखेंगे पहले हम किधर इन्वेस्ट करते हैं. बराबर. सी अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड देयर आर ओनली 4 बेसिक एसेट क्लास विच ऑल ऑफ अस इन्वेस्ट. राइट. सो 4 बेसिक क्या है, आपने एफडी, पीपीएफ, एलआईसी, एक बास्केट है, गोल्ड, रियल एस्टेट एंड स्टॉक्स. आजकल लोग क्या बोलते हैं, मैं तो म्यूचुअल फंड में डालता हूं. Technically speaking, nobody can invest money in a mutual fund. Mutual fund is a path, it's a medium, it's a concept, it's a professional approach through which you can buy all of these asset classes: FD, gold, real estate, and stocks. Okay. Now, as we speak today, FD interest rates are about maybe currently what, 6-7%. Any guess? 5 साल पहले FD rates क्या था, सर? 5 साल पहले हाँ अंकित, इतना कम नहीं था. 5 साल पहले एक्चुअली ज्यादा था. या कपिल, यस, अराउंड इट वाज 9%. एनी गेस व्हाट वाज इट इन 1980? वाइल्ड गेस. वेरी गुड. अपना इट वाज एक्चुअली, यू विल बी सरप्राइज्ड टू नो दिस, इट वाज 16 to 18%. सो इफ यू कैन रिकलेक्ट, यू आर विथ योर पेरेंट्स और ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स, वो टाइम पे लोग का एक फेवरेट डायलॉग था, अपने जमाने में पोस्ट ऑफिस में 5 साल में पैसा डबल होता था. कैन एनी ऑफ यू रिलेट टू दिस? Okay. Guys, how many of you know something called rule of 72? Rule of 72. Okay. So I'll tell you what, this is one of the best formulas you should remember so that no one can cheat you when it comes to money, when it comes to investment decisions. आज हम बेसिक फॉर्मूलाज पता नहीं रहते हैं, कोई भी कुछ बोल देते हैं, हम इमोशन में परचेस कर लेते हैं. राइट. So what does rule of 72 says? It's also called as a doubling formula. If you divide 72 by a percentage return, okay, 72 by R percentage, just remember this. It will tell you in how many years your money will double. Say 72 by 15, 15 5 are 75. इसलिए पहले 30 साल पहले 5 साल में पैसा डबल होता था. Like how Kapil bhai said, today in bank FD it grows at 7%. It takes 10 years to double. Actually, if you see post tax, it's about 4.5%. पोस्ट टैक्स बैंक में डबल करने को आपको 14 साल रुकना चाहिए. मतलब वो टाइम पे रामायण में राम और लक्ष्मण जी कैसे वनवास से 14 साल के बाद घर आए, ऐसे आप भी एफडी में इन्वेस्टर है तो 14 साल के बाद खुशियां बना सकते हैं. राइट. एनीवे, कमिंग टू गोल्ड, आई थिंक लॉट ऑफ विमेन आर आल्सो देयर ऑन द कॉल. हाउ मच इज गोल्ड टुडे? नाइनटी ऑड, आई थिंक बीच में कुछ 5,000 कुछ कम हुआ था. चलो आई जस्ट टेक अ राउंड फिगर ऑफ 90 ऑड, टेक दैट. ओके. And how much was gold in 1980? Yeah, actually it was 1,333 or 344. I'm talking about per 10 gram. So I'll take a round figure of say 1,500. Okay. Yeah. Yes, Ankit. Very good. So when you talk about real estate, Mumbai is one of the prime cities, right? Probably we can say South Mumbai is the most expensive area in the country. So any guess how much is South Mumbai per square feet today? So whether anyone from South Mumbai? सर 4 लाख नहीं है सर, कौन है 4 लाख? भूपेंद्र साहब 4 लाख तो अभी तक तो हुआ नहीं है, या अराउंड 1 लाख है, किधर 70 भी है, 80 भी है. And of course it is quite not transparent, right? In the same apartment it can get sold at different rates. So I think fairly we can say 1 lakh is a fair judgment to take in South Bombay, right? Oh, is it? Gur what are you saying? 4 lakh in Gurgaon? Oh wow, I was not aware. Okay.
No, no. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, sir.
So as you told now that South Mumbai is more expensive. That's why I'm saying as comparison to Mumbai, then
Oh.
Gurgaon is more expensive because here rate is 1 lakh and 70,000 per square feet.
Oh my God. Okay,
You can
okay.
say it's near sector 83, 84 in Gurgaon.
Okay, okay. Great, sir. Great. I was not aware. Okay, nice. Chalo, for academic purpose, let's just stick to this, data. And any guess what was it in South Bombay about 40 years back per square feet? It was actually around 1,000, 2,000 rupees. Okay. So when you talk about Sensex equity, there's something called Sensex, right? How much is Sensex today? 50? 82, 83? चलो 82 पकड़ के जाएंगे. And how much was Sensex in 1980? ये तो आलोक कुमार तो एकदम परफेक्ट बोला, 100. Okay. Now let's see how FD as a fixed income FD PPF, how it is going. The trend is negative. From 16% today we're at 7%. Gold has grown by like I think what 1,560 to 70 times. Correct? Whereas real estate grown by about 100 times. Whereas equity as an asset is what is Sensex, by the way? Top 30 stocks of the country is called as Sensex, correct? It has grown by 820 times. इसका मीनिंग क्या है? सपोज 1 लाख रुपए आपने गोल्ड में इन्वेस्ट किया हुआ था, वो 70 lakhs हो गया. In property it has become 1 crore, whereas in equity it has become 8.2 crores. In terms of taxation on FD, if your annual income is about 12 lakh, 15 lakh के ऊपर है, तो आपका tax you will have to pay 33% on your fixed deposits. On gold, about 20%. Property, I think 12.5%. I don't know how many of you know, till 2018, all the taxes from equity asset class was 0. Okay. Now, after that, it was 10%. Now, this also has become 12.5%. सर इसलिए मुकेश अंबानी सबसे ज्यादा पैसा भी कमा रहे और tax भी compared to is paying less. Of course, another reason is these big billionaires. I'll just take you through a small video and then we will just talk what is the other reason why ये बड़े billionaires का इतना कैसे फायदा उठा रहे हैं. Just 1 second. How can I open this? Just 1 second. Yeah. Now let's see this beautiful video. You'll get more clarity on the taxation, how the billionaires are playing the game of tax.
People argue that you cannot tax billionaires on the shares that they hold in a company because it is an unrealized gain, right? So they go like, yeah, you're worth 300 billion, but we can't tax you on those stocks because you haven't sold the shares. So you don't like have the money. right? But you're worth the money, but you don't have the money. And so, and I understand the argument. They go like, no, you don't have it. It's just what it's worth, because it will also crash, and then you have nothing, so we can't tax you on it. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. So you can't tax the people on a thing because they don't have it. It's just there. Okay, fine. Then Elon Musk offers to buy Twitter, right? He offers to buy it. And then he says in his offer, he goes, I'm putting up my Tesla stock as collateral. Then I'm like, so you do have it? Then he's like, no. I don't have it. I'm just going to say as collateral. So then they accept the offer. He now buys Twitter. Now that they've accepted his offer, he now goes to private equity and banks and like other rich people and whatever. He goes like, can you guys borrow me the money to buy Twitter? And then he's like, I want to buy Twitter because I don't want to sell any of my Tesla shares. So I want to use your money to buy Twitter. And then it's like, but then they're like, what are we loaning it against? And he's like, well, my Tesla shares. Then I'm going like, wait. So you can buy a thing based on what you have. Yes. But when we want to tax you, you can say, I don't have it. Do you hear what I'm saying here? And now, like, just think of like the illogic of it. It's like it's such a fun game that like billionaires get to play because all their money is in that, right? Like if you earn your money as a salary, that your money just gets taxed. That's it. You can't be like the IRS comes and you can't be like, I don't have that money. You can't be like, that money's in the bank. I don't have that money. What money? It's in the bank. Only when I take it out, then you can tax me. So now it's in the bank, IRS. No, IRS is like, don't worry, we've got your PIN number. We'll handle this. Right? But then if you have billions in shares, you can then use that as money to then get more money, but not get taxed on any money because you don't have money.
Right?
People.
So how was the video? Can any of you put in the chat, please? Hello. Okay, great. Okay, now let's understand more about before we decide on should we go for an old regime or a new regime. Okay, so when it comes to taxation, now we come to the taxation on the income tax, right? Now, as I said in the beginning, that as we go forward, your tax on your investments or your wealth also will become a very big amount. So how you can try and make it more as efficient as possible is being careful at the entry level, not at the exit, because once you get inside in any investment product, at the exit, you don't have a control, right? Whatever the government rules are there, you have to follow that. But at the before entering into any investment product, if you understand what I said, the 4 different asset classes, how you can use them for your own benefit. And by the way, all these are given, these benefits are given by government, right? So only difference between the smartest and others is they understand the rules of the game, right? And they play accordingly. It is not just Mukesh Ambani, even Bill Gates in US is not the highest taxpayer, right? So it's being smart. Okay, great. So now coming back to the income tax, as I said, there are 4 things you have to understand. 4 like ABCD. Similarly, for tax planning, you have to know the ABCD. The 2 things are first, exemptions and deductions. Another thing what you have to understand is taxable income and net taxable income. Okay. What are the 4 things? Exemptions, deductions, taxable income, and net taxable income. Now let's understand. I'll talk about exemptions and deductions in the coming slides. What is the meaning of taxable income? Whatever earning you are getting, right? Say, for example, what the income you receive in your bank, right? It can be your monthly salaries plus your variable, incentives, bonuses. Those earnings minus exemptions will give you a taxable income. And what will give you net taxable income? Taxable income minus deductions will give you net taxable income. Okay. Now let's understand what are the different exemptions you have, in old regime. Of course, exemptions and deductions are available only in old regime. In new regime, none of these things are there. Okay. So what exemptions we have? We have HRA, leave travel allowance, children education allowance, reimbursement. Okay. let's see each item in the coming slides. Of course, one of the major component of tax saving, if you're salaried and if you're staying in a rented house in old regime is HRA, right? So I think most of you know what is HRA. It is, as I said, is one of the important component. And here, some basic conditions, some basic things you should be aware. Now, in today's corporate world, some of them also work as consultants, right? They're not on the payroll, but they are on consultant. They raise an invoice and they get paid, correct? So, as a consultant, you will not get a HRA benefit. Please remember this. In case if you are a consultant or you are planning to become a consultant in the future, you have to understand you will not get a HRA benefit. As an employee, you will get a HRA benefit, right? And HRA, of course, part of CTC. And of course, the third comment is quite done in a very sarcastic way. In certain cases, what people I've seen cases, or you would also heard, where the children stay in parents' house, right? And they claim that I am paying rent, right? Of course, you can use that, and many people do it. But if there is no transaction happening, and tomorrow if any query comes, naturally that is subject to discussion and subject to many things. The idea is that if at all if you're using, then there should be a proper agreement to it, right? And proper transactions for that. Okay. So how HRA calculation works? So basically there are three parameters. Least of these three parameters is what is calculated for exemption from tax. Okay. So one, HRA allowance as per your CTC, whatever you and the company has negotiated, or as is there as a part of the package. 50% of the salary. What is the meaning of salary? Basic plus DA. The third parameter is excess rent paid over 10% of the salary. And right, this salary basic plus DA varies from city to city. More or less, the metros like Mumbai, Delhi are almost the same. Maybe Bangalore, Chennai, maybe a little less. If you go to a tier 2, tier 3 cities, maybe it will be the basic plus DA component will further go down. It is based on the lifestyle, based on the expense particular country has, particular city has. Accordingly, that is been derived, and there is a open public data available. Accordingly, the HR team calculates and the payroll team calculates. Okay. So least of these three parameters will be taken for HRA exemption. Coming to leave travel allowance, right? So this exemption is claimed for true travel journeys in a block of 4 years. So what is the meaning of block of 4 years? Now, for example, we are in a financial year 25-26. So that is 1 year, 26-27, 27-28, 28-29. Okay. So you suppose in this 4-year block, you can take this benefit twice. Okay. Now, suppose some of you, maybe you would have worked for 2 years, previous 2 years in some other company, or say next 4-year journey. Suppose you change to some other company, right? So you can still take the benefit. This is a block of 4 years for you, right? It is independent of the company you are working. Okay. And this benefit is available for domestic travel, and mode of travel can be any mode. It can be, road, train, or flight. Okay. And maximum 2 childrens are allowed for this benefit, and whatever of course naturally actual travel expenses, and family can also tour without an employee. Okay, you have to submit proper documentation, and of course this limit is again depends on company to company, which you should check with your HR and the admin team, and accordingly plan for it. Okay. So of course, education allowance is there. It is not much, very basic amount that can be taken benefit, and hostel allowance also. And I think this is one of the big benefits during COVID. Many of the employees, especially in IT companies, they've taken benefit of it, where a lot of companies gave them an infrastructure to build a kind of a small office space inside their house. People have bought laptops, mobiles, table, chairs, all those things were exempted from income tax. So these kind of things if the company has provision, you can always use it to get a tax saving, right? Okay. So with that, let's move on to tax deductions. In tax deductions, of course, as I said in the beginning, one of the most popular thing is ATC. Apart from ATC, there are very lot of other deductions which one can also take benefit of, like for example, ATD, 24B, ATCCD, and ATE. Okay, let's understand about each sections in the coming slide. So before that, since ATC is one thing, if you're still in a old regime, I think ATC is probably one thing. As I said, still a lot of people don't really take benefit of it in the way it is supposed to be. Okay, let's see. Let's also do a small quiz. We will understand how we are using it. Okay. So when you want to make a optimal tax planning under Section ATC, there are three things which you should be aware of. One is, what are the options available under ATC deduction in the market? What are the different options you have? And second, you should know what are the approximate returns you can expect by doing the tax saving. Okay. And please remember, any tax saving product will come with a lock-in period. Many times I hear people saying that I was not aware that the tax so and so tax saving solution has a lock-in. I want that money now. Please help me take out that money. Please understand, if government is giving you any benefit, they will take something from you. Okay. If they're giving you tax benefit, they will lock your money for some period. Okay. Okay. Now, these are the different options available to save tax under Section ATC. Can you please put in chat what do you use to save tax? What are you using? Just kindly please put in the chat. Names will be between 1 and 5. PF, ELSS. Okay. 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 Great. Thank you. Thank you guys. अभी देखेंगे कितना ये what we are using, how much, and let's see what are the what we should supposed to be doing. Okay. So these are the tentative returns one gets. Of course, the FD rates keeps changing. This is the the old rate I've put. Now it is about 6-7%, NSC about 6%. Life insurance policies, a lot of people have put 3. So please take conscious of it and do some necessary corrections. A lot of LIC policies doesn't give you more than 4-5% yield. ULIP is about 8-9%. PPF is okay. Compared to other fixed income instruments, PPF is about 7.1%. But since most of you are salaried people, you'll be getting EPF, Employee Provident Fund, which continues to grow as per your increments, and also company also does the equal contribution. So technically for you, PPF is one more duplication, right? So this is something you should see whether is it really required for you. So basically, if you know why PPF came into existence, because employees had EPF, businessmen didn't had anything. That's how government came with public provident fund, especially for non-employees, whoever is not getting benefit. But generally both log use bhi karte PPF ko. And sixth option is ELSS, which has a potential to give 12 to 15%. Now let's see what is the lock-in period. Right? आपके सामने data है, बराबर. So by the way, guys, I am not here to promote any particular product also. As I said, my only job is to show awareness, show the data to you so that you can take, right actions sitting with your advisor or sitting with whomever you're working. Right? So, चलो सर, अभी आप डालो as per data किस में डालना चाहिए ATC सेविंग, कौन सा ऑप्शन लेना चाहिए? करेक्ट, बट सबका नहीं है. ओके ओके ओके. नाउ सम ऑफ यू मे बी थिंकिंग, 10,000 12,000 क्या फर्क पड़ेगा टैक्स सेविंग में? लेट इट गो वेरेवर इट गो, इट डजंट मैटर टू अस, राइट? सो इट्स क्वाइट कॉमन टू थिंक लाइक दैट, नो? So let's see what I've done. I've done one simple analysis of a 25-year period. Okay. I don't know if you are aware, in 1996, ATC deduction limit was only 70,000. Then it became 1 lakh in 2013. Now it is 1.5 lakh. Okay. Now, if you have invested maximum limit in ATC, okay, in PPF, your total saving would be 22 lakh 90,000, and that has grown to 60 lakhs, which is not bad. In fact, earlier PPF used to give 12% return, then it became 11, 10, 9, 8, now it's about 7%, right? The same thing in a simple tax saving fund, XYZ fund, the fund doesn't matter. It has become about 3 crores. By the way, as you know, I've consciously taken a data on COVID. As you know, at COVID, market fell like anything, correct? Why I'm showing this slide, see, generally, no, the PPF and EPF, subconsciously, we think this is for our retirement. So most of us really keep that corpus for a really long time. If you're 10 year, 20 year, 30 year down the line, definitely that money should go into an equity asset class, because that's where the real compounding will happen. If you just do a proper tax planning, now imagine, see, this is a 20 data, 25, this money is about 7 crore today, 7, 8 crore easily. So just doing a ATC tax planning properly, your retirement can be taken care. Okay. See how tax planning has such, generally we only talk about saving tax, but we forget that tax saving is a part of your overall financial plan. Tax saving should also lead to wealth creation. बराबर, सिर्फ टैक्स बचाने के लिए आप वैसा मत सोचो, टैक्स भी बचना चाहिए, पैसा भी बनना चाहिए. Otherwise, what is the point? Do you want to shell out that 1,50,000 just for saving 30,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees? What is happening to that 1.5 you are putting in? That also should grow, right? That sometimes we don't really give a thought. At the last moment, we go to HR and saying, take this receipt, don't cut me tax, don't cut tax, right? So, but वो वैसा मत करो, please plan in the advance so that आपका tax भी saving होना चाहिए, and your wealth creation also should happen. Okay. So apart from ATC, what are the other options you have to save tax? ATCCD under NPS, right? 1B, where you can get additional 50,000 tax. If you're in a 30% tax bracket, आपको direct 15,000 tax बच जाता है. This is a great option which one should take benefit without missing. ATD is another great option for medical, which are health insurance, right? For you, if you're married, self, spouse, and children, you can get 25,000 rupee benefit on up to 25,000 per year. The tax will be exempted. If you have parents who are senior citizens, then it is 50,000, right? If you do any preventive health checkup, you get 5,000. This 5,000 is part of the 50,000. Okay. If you have a disabled family member who is bedridden or who is, who needs support, basically it is more of, someone, who cannot do their own work, right? So you can get another benefit of 75,000 to 1,25,000 under section 80DD. Okay. 80 is another great option. If your children if you're sending them abroad, or if they're coming to graduation, post-graduation, if you're taking any loan, the entire interest component is tax exempted. This is, one of my client, he's one level below CFO in IDFC Bank. We have advised him to take a loan instead of redeeming their investments. The reason being, one is girl child, they get a better interest rate, and they wanted 2 crores, right? And and dad is in the highest tax bracket with surcharge and all, it goes up to 40%, right? So he can get exemption. Of course, that is a different story. I'm sorry. So basically, whatever interest component, the dad also can contribute to child's EMI. So that is entirely exempted for him, right? So those benefits you can take. Of course, when child starts working, then child can start paying only the principal. They have to pay. The entire interest is exempted from income tax. I mean, interest, of course, component is there, but you get a tax benefit on that. And if you have a home loan, then 24B, 2 lakh per person, you can take benefit. If you are yet to buy a home, and if you're thinking of planning to buy a home, then if you're married, you should always look for taking a joint loan, Why? Because you can get this 2 lakh per PAN card. This is per person. Say your spouse is also working, you can, both of you can take exemption for 4 lakh, right? And another standard deduction which everyone knows, 50,000 rupees is you get benefit on the tax. Okay. So just to give a small background about NPS, which I thought I've added here because some of them are still not aware of NPS. So NPS is a simple option given by Government of India to help you create bigger retirement corpuses. Uh, 80CCD 1B section is a voluntary saving scheme. It is not compulsory. If you wish to, you can do. As I said, it is up to 50,000 per annum. So basically, through NPS, you have options to invest in government bonds, corporate bonds, or stocks. Okay, those options are up to you. And also, there are certain companies. You have 80CCD 1A section where 10% of your salary can be contributed to NPS. Right? That if your company is giving, you can also consider that, especially if your packages is above 50 lakhs. This can be a good option to save tax. Okay.
I have a question here. So do we
Unless
have
I
a
just complete in maybe
okay
5-10 minutes, then I'll take questions. Okay.
okay
Yeah. Okay. Now coming to, okay, sir, now tell us, should I go for old regime or a new regime, right? So I'm just sharing, as you know, the old regime tax slabs are these, right? Up to 2.5 lakh is nil, 2.5 to 5 lakh is about 5%, then 5 to 10 is 20%, about 10 lakh is 30%. Okay. The new tax slabs I've also kept existing as well as revised. As you know, the new slab, there has been a major revision happening, right? So I've kept so that there is some confusion with some of them saying they are still referring to the old new regime slab rates. So I've kept both so that it is clear to everyone, right? So as per new, technically up to 12 lakhs, you don't have to pay any tax, right? 12 to 15 lakh is 15%, then 15 to 20 is 20%, 20 to 25 lakh is 25%. If your package is about 25 lakh, it is 30%, right? So basically, if you see, uh, you know, uh, what regime, what are the kind of bullet points or basic things you should consider before opting for an old and new, right? So as I said, one is if you have a home loan, if you have an educational loan which can come, right? If you have these deductions, these things, if you at least 3 lakh, 5 lakh kind of a thing, then, old regime may make sense, right? If you don't have any of these major deductions, major exemptions to take benefit of, then new regime is better for you, right? Then it's better you can go for a new regime. That is a basic thing, right? And also, see, the whole idea of why government is doing this is that, in India, a lot of times people, of course, if you are salaried, we don't have a choice. We are actually the honest taxpayers. As you know, people who are into non-salaried people, many times the tax collection doesn't happen, right? So the government doesn't want to start nudging people into a system where it becomes a more easier way to collect taxes and to track, right? So as I said, that can be your major thing. And also the good news for salaried people is that you can change to old to new or new to old every year. Unlike if you're a businessman, you can only change once in your lifetime. Whereas for salaried people, government is giving this option every year. Based on your circumstance, situation, you can either go to old regime or new regime. Okay. Of course, you should always have a CA. If you want, I can refer. People today, there are certain CAs who can work with just 1,000 rupees, 1,500 rupees, and it is a value addition for you who can, because ultimately this tax, when it comes to tax, there are certain more parameters to see. That's where the CA becomes a very important person to take benefit. We have a lot of calculators. If you are still in old regime, we can help you get proper audit of your tax saving and help you save more tax, right? See, ultimately, this is a awareness program, and many people will also have individual questions, individual data to talk, which in a public, it becomes difficult to share personal information, right? So we are also giving you, free one-to-one discussion if you want with me, my team. You can, it's no obligation, no cost, service we give only to share this knowledge to more and more people. If you're interested, you can do that. Where you can, we have some calculators. We have also some resources of CS. We can help you identify exactly what regime you should go for, right? And as I said, I can help you do your ATC proper audit. And if you have any investment, you want a second opinion also, we can help you give, right? So I just want a quick feedback from you, please. If you can share this QR and give me a feedback. Meantime, I am now open for, I'll open this session for Q&A and any questions I can answer. Guys, at the same time, I am not a CA, I'm not a chartered accountant. I cannot, any deep tax questions I may not answer, but most of it, I should be able to give a decent perspective. If I'm not sure, I will tell you upfront that what is the other alternative thing we should do. Right. With that, thank you so much for attending today's session. Kindly give feedback by using this QR. Yeah. Any questions, please, guys, put in the chat or you can unmute. Naresh ji.
Yeah, so thanks for giving me an opportunity to ask the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
So my question is that regarding the NPS, like you have shown the slide where 1.5 lakh was the limit as a non-tax as a tax rebate uh, if we are going with the employer. So is it a 1.5 fixed
No,
or it can
no,
be
no,
more
no.
than
Actually,
1.5?
don't take it as 1.5. You take it as a 10% of the CTC that you should check with your company. Okay. There are, different companies have different this thing, but one thumb rule is that 10% of the salary you can do it in 80 CCD 1A section for NPS. That deduction happens through the company.
And that is that we can avail for both like the old regime as well as for the new regime.
See, the NPS is only given for old regime. New regime, you are not getting any benefit on NPS.
Mm,
See, in short, new regime doesn't have any deductions, any benefit. That's why the up to 12 lakhs, they're giving you tax-free benefit.
but when I was checking on that LSAC, we have our company, tax
Mm.
calculator. So it
Mm.
was showing there as the taxable income was showing the less amount minus of that NPS, and it is written there that NPS and EPF will be considered as a non-taxable income. So
Under
is
new
it
regime.
in the new regime as well?
So this is actually a little gray because, I have also taken some views from some senior chartered accountants. What I've heard is that they're saying in new regime, you don't get any benefit.
Yeah, that's what confusing to me because I also checked with my CA and she told me that it's a part of old regime. But when I'm looking to my company portal, it's saying that NPS is included there when we are doing the tax calculation. So that's okay. Maybe we can get in touch again if
Yeah.
you will get some more clarity on that.
Yeah.
Naresh, it is available via employer.
No,
14% of your
yeah,
basic.
yeah. That is what I am asking, right? If
Yeah, it is available.
it is available, right? So, but like he have said, right, it is only available for the old regime, not for the new regime.
No, no, in new also it is 14%.
Yeah, it is showing like a 14%, right? 14% entire, or is it a 10%?
No, no, 14% of your basic in new tax regime, 10% of your basic in old tax regime.
Okay, okay, okay. So 14% will come as a non-taxable income, right?
Yes, yes, in new tax
Okay,
regime. In
okay. So
current
have
tax
you
year.
just clarified with any LSEG or anybody from there? Have you any confirmation over it?
Yeah, actually, I read that income tax website documents.
Okay, okay. Can you share to me? Like I'll connect to you, right? Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, just or maybe if you have a link, you can drop in the chat.
Yeah, I'll check and then share.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you,
Guys,
Arnav.
any other questions?
One more thing I have, Srinivas.
Yeah.
Say if we have opted for a new regime now,
Yeah.
right? So the tax will be calculated and deducted from the perspective of employer. on the basis of new regime. But if you are going to file the ITR, at that time, can we change it from new regime to the old regime, or vice versa?
I think no. I think whatever you gave at the beginning, no, accordingly the tax calculations would have happened, right? I think that is what they will take.
Yeah, tax calculation will happen, right? But when we are filing the ITR, that
That
time
I
can
think you
we
should
change?
check with CA once.
Yeah, I checked with the CA, so she told me that we can change it. So I just
Yeah,
want to
right.
have a double
Yeah, I
confirm on
think should be. I think should be, but
that.
better to check with the CA again.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Akshit has a question on fund. Akshit, actually, to be honest, I don't want to give any random scheme name because the fund depends on the existing portfolio of a client. His understanding of volatility of the market, right? So basically, maybe 2 to 3 funds just to have diversification. Should be a good approach, right? Suppose if you already have an existing portfolio, and I tell some XYZ fund,